Welcome. I'm glad that you're here, whether you are enjoying this live now or watching a recording of this later. We're at Charlotte Center for Mindfulness, glad that you are practicing with us. I'm Lindsay Bridges, and for this evening's community gathering, we're going to start with a meditation, and then I have a sharing. Afterwards, if you'd like to join me in our community Zoom room for practice discussion, we'd love to have you, and I will post the link at the end. So glad that you're here. For this evening's practice, I actually want to begin with just a short standing practice to stretch the body. So, invite you to adjust your body. Find whatever posture, standing place gives you enough room for your arms to stretch wide. And take a moment to come into a mountain pose. You can do a little bit of shifting side to side, back to back, back to front. Really finding your balance, finding the alignment with gravity below. Maybe taking a couple of nice deep in and out breaths. Really let the exhale be long, slow, and easy. Breathe in and out. Letting the hands come in front of the heart. And we're going to do a movement that I was taught a long time ago called Gathering in the Clouds. So for this practice, you take a breath in, release it out. The next in breath, scooping the breath in, and out breath. Releasing it out. In breath and out. So your own body, your own breath, really let yourself explore what feels good, what actually nourishes the body with this movement. Does your body want big, exaggerated movement? Or is it more in the mood for a small, subtle movement? Last one more, last one. And then release. Take a moment to just kind of let the body release whatever wants to let go. Maybe we will also do a little bit of head, neck. Again, really curious, bringing a curious investigation. What feels good to your body? Is it big, exaggerated, small, subtle? Balancing anything that you do and allowing that movement to come down into the shoulders. You can even make it a little bigger, include the arms. Balancing any movement that you're doing. And any last stretch that would feel good for your body. Offering that now. Finishing back with the hands again in front of the heart. Coming into the mountain pose. Just feeling into the effects of the body. A very simple movement practice. And then coming back to a sitting position. Taking your time to adjust the body, whatever way best supports your body. Allow yourself to feel into settling, finding some stillness, breathing here. Listening for the sound of the bell. That same way that we can be curious about felt sensation moving the body, bringing some curiosity to felt sensation of sound reaching your body. Nothing you need to do but opening up the ears, the mind, for receptivity and curiosity. What does this sound feel like? And that same curiosity we can bring to listening to the sound of the bell, allowing the ears, the sense of hearing, to explore all around you. Maybe you can actually hear sounds outside. Sounds in your room. Maybe there are sounds in your body. When we're practicing with listening meditation, there's always this point of curiosity about distinguishing between thinking about sounds and hearing pure sound, vibratory sensation. So notice where the mind wants to get caught up in any story about any given sound. What's it like to catch that habit? Give it a very simple note: thinking, judging, story making, whatever works for you when it arises. See what it's like to drop back into this open, receptive listening. That same open, receptive listening we bring to sounds, bringing that now to the body, to feeling sensation. Nice place to begin is often with gravity, or the points of contact of your body, chair, the floor, whatever way you're supporting your body. What's it like to energetically release down into that sensation of gravity? Be on each out breath, letting go right into gravity, letting it draw out with the out breath, that letting go right down into the earth, whatever you need to release, whatever tension of your day, holding, contraction, whatever's ready to let go. Simply offering it over to the field of gravity, allowing this sinking down into the earth below. And just as a tree grows tall right through its rooting down into the earth, feel how that connection with gravity allows a lengthening along the spine, the neck, to the top of the head. Feeling both the energy releasing down and energy enlivening, reaching up. And then bringing the awareness to the breath. This breath now, breathing in, breathing out. Nothing you need to do here any more than that same open, receptive, listening, feeling, sensing, curious, wanting to be awake to the sensation of the body breathing in and out. So, no matter how often the mind gets distracted, we have these anchors available to us. Whether it be the anchor of movement, physically moving the body, stretching, breathing with the movement, the anchor of listening, body sensations, and breath. Plenty of other anchors also possible. So I invite you to choose one anchor. Doesn't really matter what it is. If that opening movement practice was useful for you and the anchor is just very gentle yoga, stretching, moving, allow yourself to continue with that, really allowing it to be a mindfulness practice, being curious as to what feels good in the body. Sometimes just sitting isn't what's called for. Maybe it's a different practice for you. Maybe it is listening. Maybe it's the breath. Maybe it's a loving kindness practice. It doesn't really matter. But allow yourself to choose one practice, being really intentional about choosing this practice as a support for yourself. Begin to let the awareness shift into whatever anchor you're using. Feeling into the aliveness, this open, receptive possibility. And of course, the anchor is only part of the practice. Those moments when we do settle, release into, savor them, open to them, taste them, and don't use them to judge the mind when it's distracted, as somehow the anchor is better or more worthy. So even as you are choosing an anchor, drop in right now and notice where the awareness goes to most naturally in this moment. Is it connecting with the anchor? Or are you caught up in some sort of tug of war with your mind? Is this getting pulled in other directions? What is it like to let go of any struggle? We do this with a lot of wisdom and a lot of kindness. So I'm going to offer the RAIN practice, RAIN. And I invite you to use it with wherever your mind is. If your mind is settling into the anchor, if offering RAIN helps tune the focus in an open, receptive listening, use the practice of RAIN. If the mind is just being pulled in some other direction, use the practice of RAIN for this. So pause right now. Notice what is the loudest on your radar, anchor, or what might be called distracted mind, without judgment. And we'll start with the R, RAIN, recognize. We can't work with what we're not awake to. So much of our time is in that autopilot mode. So the first step is to recognize, where is the mind in this moment? Settling or caught up? I'd like to have a deep compassion for this being human, wherever the mind is. The A, accept or allow. Accept and allow. What does that quality feel like? If you're with an anchor, maybe it's the breath. Is it like to simply allow the body to breathe itself, breathe in and out? If something else has pulled you, what's it like to allow an open-hearted, wise, clear-seeing acceptance of, yeah, this is where my mind has gone right now. The allow doesn't mean let myself get swept in its storm. It means letting go of any fight to trying to make something not be here. So we're really looking for that mindful, compassionate witness. Whatever's alive for you in this moment, how do you let the moment simply be what it is and bring a wise, caring, compassionate observer to the moment just as it is, without any fight or judgment? The I investigate. Investigate doesn't mean get caught up in thinking about whatever's here. It's just another way to get swept into the storm. The ways I like to think about it is really investigate in the body. My mind is caught in a thought storm. What is the impact of that thought storm on my body? Where do I hold it? What parts of the body are caught up in it? What parts of the body aren't? If I'm with an anchor, I'm just deepening in my natural investigation, releasing into the flow of the anchor. All is useful practice. Out trying to think your way to an answer for this. What kind of investigation is needed, wanted, useful here for you? Kind of qualities of mind, body, and heart allow this investigation to actually be fruitful for you. Not trying to come up with any answers, but just embodying a deeper knowing, deeper wisdom around whatever's here for you. In And use for the end for this one a natural awareness, just opening to the moment. Whatever way has some wisdom and some strong heart for recognize, allow, accept, investigate, and natural awareness. Taking some moments to practice on your own in whatever way is most useful for you. Where is the mind now? Using rain to support whatever this moment's like for you that's useful for you. Really nice practicing with you all. Gwen, nice to see that you are here. I'm going to invite us to take a moment to just acknowledge, if you would like, who's here with us. One way to do that is to put something in the chat. Um, uh, if you want, name a gratitude, especially in the midst of these very challenging times. Gratitudes are so useful for anchoring us back in something that's good in our life. So if you'd like to use the chat for that, would love to have that there. And I think I'm going to write something in as well. I'm really enjoying. I don't know if they're coming through the YouTube, but I can hear loud birds outside, which is very nice. Sharon, hi. The yoga was a nice surprise tonight. I'm grateful for my front porch. That sounds lovely. And so, one advantage if you are practicing live stream at home and yoga is more useful for you than sitting, you are welcome to do that with me anytime. But sometimes in the circle, people are a little more hesitant. But it's always welcome to move the body when that's more useful for you. So, what I'd like to offer a sharing for tonight. Um, Last week, I was reminded of a story, and I first heard this story actually in my very first mindfulness teacher training up at UMass years ago. And the teacher who shared the story actually knew the person from the story. Beautiful story of meeting challenge in a way that disarms the challenge, changes the entire nature of what happens, of what might be happening. And I want to say it's really interesting how a story can take on a life of its own. The version I heard this week had obviously gone through many tellings and renditions and had actually gotten to a place where it was kind of a very watered down version of the first story I heard. So I went back and looked up the original story from Terry Dobson, who shared it. Uh, and his version, the way he tells what actually happened to him is very beautiful. So I'm going to share it from this version straight from him. And I got it from a book called Aikido and the New Warrior. And Terry Dobson wrote the chapter in here. And before I go any further, I just saw Gwen writing up here. I'm grateful for my loud grandson whose loudness has seeded me out into the wonderful outdoors. I love seeing that. I saw it out of the corner of my eye, so I had to make a little pause to read that. So thank you, Gwen. So Terry Dobson, he was an American Aikido student, and I think this happened to him back in the 70s. He went to Japan to study Aikido with actually the founder of the martial arts Aikido, if you're not familiar with Aikido. And after 3 years in Japan studying with his teacher, he found he was getting very restless with the basic ideas. He had learned a very high level of martial arts moves, but was always getting the instruction that to resort to having to use these moves was not to be in alignment with true Aikido. Um, so his teacher, the way his teacher said it, was the art of Aikido is devoted to peace. Dobson quotes his teacher as saying, Aikido is the art of reconciliation. Whoever has the mind to fight has broken his connection with the universe. If you try to dominate other people, you are already defeated. We study how to resolve conflict, not how to start it. That one line, whoever has the mind to fight has broken his connection with the universe, set a lot with that this week. And it is just very interesting to notice how when I contract, there's a way I go into a disconnect automatically. So it's really an interesting line to contemplate. Anyway, Dobson's story, he was finding this instruction very challenging. As he put it, I listened to his words. I tried hard. I wanted to quit fighting, but in my heart of hearts, I was dying to be a hero. I wanted a chance, an absolutely legitimate opportunity where I might save the innocent by destroying the guilty. So, if we're looking for a fight, chances are we will find one. His opportunity came one day when he was on a Japanese train, and a very large man who was drunk, who was, actively inebriated, very disheveled, actually had old vomit caked on the front of his shirt, and was outright violent as he got onto the train. So this man, as he got on the train, he tried to take a swing at a mother holding a baby, and then another swing at an older woman, both of whom were able to get out of the way just in time, and like fled to the other end of the train. So this is what Dobson says then happened. This is it, I said to myself as I got to my feet. Dobson's words. This slob, this animal is drunk and mean and violent. People are in danger. If I don't do something fast, somebody will probably get hurt. I'm going to take his ass to the cleaners. Seeing me stand up, the man saw a chance to focus his rage. Aha, he roared. A foreigner, you need a lesson in Japanese manners. So the man punched the metal pole once to give weight to his words. I held on lightly to the commuter strap overhead. I gave him a long, slow look of disgust and dismissal. I gave him every bit of piss-ant nastiness I could summon up. I planned to take him apart, but he had to be the one to move first. And I wanted him mad, because the madder he was, the more certain my victory. I pursed my lips and blew him a sneering, insolent kiss. It hit him like a slap in the face. All right, the man hollered. You're gonna get a lesson. He gathered himself up for a rush at me. He would never know what hit him. A split second before he moved, someone shouted, Hey! It was ear-splitting. I remember being hit by this strangely joyous, lilting quality of the call. as though you and a friend had been searching diligently for something and your friend had suddenly stumbled upon it. Hey! I wheeled to my left. The drunk man spun to his right. We both stared down at a little old Japanese man. He must have been well into his 70s, this tiny gentleman sitting there immaculate in his kimono. He took no notice of me, but beamed delightedly at the other man as though he had a most important, most welcome secret to share. Come here, the old man said in an easy way, beckoning to the drunk man. Come, talk with me. He waved his hand lightly. The big man followed as if on a string. He planted his feet belligerently in front of the old gentleman, towered threateningly over him, and shouted, Talk to you? Why the hell should I talk to you? The old man just continued to beam at the laborer. There was not a trace of fear or resentment about him. What have you been drinking? He asked lightly as his eyes sparkled with interest. I've been drinking sake, the laborer bellowed back, and it's none of your damn business. Flecks of spittle splattered across the old man. Oh, that's wonderful, the old man said with delight. Absolutely wonderful. You see, I love sake too. Every night, my wife and I, she's 76, you know, we warm up a little bottle of sake and we take it out into the garden and we sit on the old wooden bench that my grandfather's first student made for him. We watch the sun go down and we look at how the persimmon tree is doing. My grandfather planted that tree, you know, and we worry about whether it will recover from the ice storms we had last winter. Persimmons do not do well after ice storms, although I must say ours has done rather better than I expected, especially when you consider the poor quality of the soil. Still, it's most gratifying to watch when we take our sake and go out and enjoy in the evening, even when it rains. He looked up at the laborer, eyes twinkling, happy to share this delightful information. As the other man struggled to follow this conversation, his face began to soften. His fists slowly unclenched. Yeah, he said slowly. I love persimmons too. His voice trailed off. Yes, said the old man, smiling. And I'm sure you have a wonderful wife. No, said the man. My wife died. He hung his head very gently, swaying with the motion of the train. The big man began to sob. I don't have a wife. I don't have a home. I don't have a job. I don't have money. I have nowhere to go. I am so ashamed of myself. Tears rolled down his cheeks. A spasm of pure despair rippled through his body. Now it was my turn. Standing there in my well-scrubbed youthful innocence, my make this world safe for the democracy righteousness, I suddenly felt dirtier than he was. The train just then arrived at my stop. The platform was packed. The crowd surged into the car as soon as the doors opened. Maneuvering my way out, I heard the old man cluck sympathetically. My, that's very difficult indeed. Sit down here. Tell me all about it. I turned my head for one last look. The big man was sprawled like a sack on the seat, his head in the old man's lap. The old man looked down at him with compassion and care, one hand stroking the filthy, matted head. As the train pulled away, I sat down on a bench. What I had wanted to do with muscle and meanness had been accomplished with a few kind words. I had seen Aikido tried in combat, and the essence of it was love, just as my teacher had said. I would have to practice the art with an entirely different spirit. It would be a long time before I could talk about resolution of conflict. So I love this story and have heard many similar moments, accounts of where the power of kindness has actually dramatically changed a situation. And even in my own life, I was in one situation that could have potentially been very, very dangerous, and watched a Catholic sister who I was with utterly diffuse the danger with the strength of joy and kindness in her heart. It does matter how we meet others. And that's not to say that kindness somehow always, quote unquote, works. A Pollyanna attitude towards kindness has its own risks and pitfalls as well. What it is to say is that living a life in alignment with our values makes us stronger, makes us happier, makes us more at ease, and makes us so much more resilient in the face of challenge. And so I really invite you to consider this story in terms of your own life. Where do you know in your own life that a powerful, strong, kind, wise heart might actually guide you so much better, moment to moment, than that reactive mind that always wants to pull us back into some form of fight, flight, freeze? Like, really contemplate your day to day. Where might have the strength of the heart actually served you better than the reactive mind, the fight, flight, freeze? And then if you bring this to your own practice, how often in your own practice do you engage in some sort of fight with yourself? Oh, I'm too distracted. Oh, I can't do this now. Oh, I can't sit. I want to be moving. All of these ways that instead of understanding a kind, wise way of being with it, we use them as a fight against ourselves. Or we use them as a way to run away. It's not always fight mode, it's often a runaway mode that we get in just as much. If you were to imagine for your own self a wise old Japanese man who could offer you the strength of his wisdom, his kindness, his compassion, what might he say in your situation that is utterly accepting, utterly understanding, utterly getting it in this moment? Something that allows some sort of softening, letting go of fight or flight, a willingness to begin to investigate with compassionate care, whatever's here. So, one practice we have that helps us get in touch with that is the RAIN practice that we used during our meditation. RAIN stands for the R, recognize, the A, allow and accept, I is investigate. And the N can actually, I've heard it named lots of ways. I think originally it was no self, then natural awareness, and more recently, noting. So any N that makes the most sense for you, use it. And I want to close by noticing how all of those elements were actually in this story, exactly the way the old Japanese met the younger man. So the first step, the older man recognized what was going on for the younger man and absolutely allowed and accepted where the younger man was without judgment, with a lot of validation. Did it in a way that diffused the fight. That's the key thing, that allowing and accepting, which allows us to put down the armor and be with the vulnerability, the tenderness, the hurt, the pain, the challenge, the difficulty, the anger, the resentment, the anxiety, whatever it is, actually allows us to come into contact in a supported way with this. We support ourselves the same way that the Japanese man did, with a very gentle investigation. What's at the root of our pain? Um, In this story, he very gently investigated with this very gentle care. And in the end, he was noting out loud for the man aspects of his experience that allowed him to get in touch with the grief that was underneath his rage. When we can touch in this way, we really open up a place of healing. So, for this week, I encourage you to explore rain practice for yourself anywhere through your day that it might be useful. Explore it in whatever formal practice you might be doing, explore it in whatever moments of reactivity that you're able to catch, and just take a breath in and out and pause with for a moment. Find out what this offers for you. So let's sit for just a minute. Maybe walk yourself through rain right now, or recognize what's this moment like for you. The A, accept and allow. You have room for this too. I investigate, not caught up in the story, not collapsing under the story, maybe just finding out how it plays out in the body now. In natural awareness, no self noting, whatever works for you. So, thank you for practicing with us. We have weekday offerings every weekday. 7 o'clock on Monday night is Aaron Less. This is our Tuesday evening gathering. Tomorrow I'll have a 9:30 in the morning. And Thursday, Jude Johnson's at 5:30, and then Friday morning, practice with me again at 8 a.m. if you would like. I want to just name that KT is here, grateful for this online class, and Micah. Hi, everyone. That's kind of sweet. Just want to give a shout out to y'all being here. I appreciate that. If you would like to join in the Zoom room, I'm going to see if I can paste it right now. And so I put it in the chat box. I understand that sometimes people have a hard time getting in the chat box. So I realized I didn't put it on the description before I go to the Zoom room. I'm going to post it on the description. So if you wait just a moment and refresh your page, it will be in the description box for this YouTube. If you haven't come over to the Zoom room yet, we'd love to have you. They're sweet, informal, just a time to connect and share a little bit more about what's happening for us and what's happening in our practice. And hope you won't feel shy about joining because we would love to have you. So let's sit to close. Take a moment to allow a nice deep in and out breath. A moment in whatever way speaks to your heart to offer the best wishes, kindness and compassion, strength and resilience, health and well being, internally to your own body, mind, heart, and outwardly to everyone in this world, wherever we are, whatever conditions we are facing. May we be happy. May we be at ease. May we know our strength and resiliency. Care for ourselves with joy. And care for all others with joy and ease as well. Thank you, and hope to see you in just a moment in the Zoom room.